days. So.
All right. Looks like we're live.
We are live now.
We're
What,
live.
the intro went through already?
Yeah.
Holy shit. What did you do? Put a new intro or did you speed it up or I just wasn't paying attention?
What is up, everybody? Josh, JRB5, Kevin. Down there, we got Karl Dahmer Arts. And this is
How's it going?
How's everybody doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Doing all right. Doing all right. Go ahead.
It's been a week. It's been a weekend. You know,
It's been a long week we've had a lot of music in Wichita. And like
good.
me, I tried to go to all of them.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Well, we had a real good one at the middle of the week with Deterioration.
Yeah. That's you're an idiot to miss them anytime they're in town.
Those guys are insane, man.
Yeah.
I've seen them a dozen times, if not more.
Yeah.
First saw them, I didn't even know who they were, and I was like, "Holy shit, what the hell is going on here?" I tell you, there was another band, Putrid Stew.
Yeah. Those guys are sick too.
Oh my god, they were intense.
Yeah.
I need to find out where they got those shirts from. They had these big overgrown shirts. I was like, "That's what I need from my band."
Nightgown grind.
Yeah.
what are the dresses? The Hawaiian.
Oh, the moo-moos?
Moo-moos, yeah.
No, I don't think so. But I guess I could, because I don't care. I don't care.
Shameless.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we checked out the exhibit this afternoon.
Sweet.
Yep, a lot of great art. Of course, yours was my favorite, of course.
Oh, stop it.
I've always enjoyed that style of art. And I mean, when I did more drawing, I tried to do that. I got into pointillism and was doing that when I was a young man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just very time consuming. So
yeah.
How many hours? I got a slide of both of your pieces up here.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go with the one with color. How long did that one take you?
Fuck. I got hit up about this exhibit. Whoa. That was back in the spring, I think. I started on that right away because I'll mess around and do tribute stuff just in my own free time, just whatever, horror stuff, old punk and metal stuff. Yeah. I've always wanted to do that because, again, that's been one of my favorite album covers since I was a little kid.
That's that Earth AD, is it?
What's that?
The cover to Earth 8, something AD.
Earth AD, yeah.
It is Earth AD? Okay.
Since I was a little kid, that was a huge, the thing I've stared at a trillion times. I've wanted to do it forever, and people have asked to do it at some point. I was going to do it at some point, but that was a perfect excuse when I was hit up about doing the gallery show. And that was the first one I did. I think I started on that. I started on it. I put in about 4 to 6 hours, and then it sat over just mocking me on the side shelf, staring at
how they go.
Half done for probably 5 or 6 months. Yeah. And then I finally got way back into it. I think overall, if you were to break it down into me doing it nonstop, probably, 48 to 72 hours if I were to fully nonstop, but I never do anything really start to finish. So a lot of stuff I just kind of sit on.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of your works in progress. I'm eagerly waiting for them to get done.
Yeah.
And then I never see them again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're all the same way. I literally got a room where I sit there and I got a piece sitting here, piece sitting here, piece behind me. And I'll be, I want to paint this today. And then I put it off to the side, let it dry, do whatever. I need to work. I don't want to work on that one.
You don't want to see what's behind the camera rack here or my closet.
Well, mine are never really done until they're sold.
Yeah. I have years worth of stuff that some stuff is I started, 6 months ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, stuff that weirdly, I can actually pull out from 4 years ago, and weirdly enough, try to connect the other end of it and finish it some. A lot of it ends up just in the island of misfit work that just nothing ever becomes of it, or I try to recycle the paper, flip it over, and do something new on it, so I'm not wasting stuff or just whatever. You never know. So.
Yeah. No, there's some I've gone back 4 years and I'm finally like, oh, this is what I need to do to finish it.
Yeah.
And so I finish it, and sure enough, it sells sometimes.
Yeah.
So you said you found out about this in spring. Didn't hear, both me and Kevin hadn't heard anything about it. So we were like, I would have liked to try to get on this. So
I was originally hit up by the guy, I believe the story was the guy who was setting it up, had hit me up about, he had found out that I did work for a zine cover from years ago, that he was collecting all of them. And he had found out I did a cover for one of them. It was something from back like 2014 or 15 maybe. And then he was hitting me up about purchasing the original of that. And then he and I went back and forth talking about that stuff. And then by the end of that conversation was like, oh, by the way, we have this thing coming up like way at the end of the year. Yeah. You know, and it was just like, yeah, I made a note to myself and I lost that note. And then I refound it a month later. And then I was like, oh shit, start doing something. Yeah. And I started on that Earth AD tribute piece then, just to go like, mainly as a reminder, because I'm just such a spaz that I'll space stuff out, like, and you know, the pile of stuff is supposed to be organized. It's a fucking nightmare over here. It's not organized at all. My wife wonders how I get anything done.
You'll spend a day, you'll start organizing it, and then something happens, or I don't know. I do it all the time. Oh, I'm going to get everything organized, and then next thing I know, I stop and I'm working on something. Yeah. And then I go back and I'm like, well, so much for getting that organized. It's time to go to bed.
Yeah. It looks like a landfill over here of partially drawn skulls and dead hookers and stuff like that.
Dead hookers.
Well, we got a blank canvas behind us, and I think we were going to try to do something to kind of pay homage to your style. We don't know what we're going to do yet. I'm going to let Kevin take the helm, because we didn't go into that. We probably need to, just for the very beginning, we try to sometimes, but tell what the premise of the show is. You know, we paint, we take turns painting behind us, and paint, whatever we want. We span it out over a couple weeks to finish the piece, instead of, we used to do them all in one show, all in 1 hour. We'd finish a painting, but those were kind of lackluster, and so we just kind of slowed them down.
I think we've done one in our recent stuff where we finished one, but the last year, we've always taken 2 or 3 shows now to finish them.
A couple episodes to do it, and canvas is expensive, paint's expensive, so just slow the roll a little bit. We're not Bob Ross. We ain't got that Bob Ross money.
Well, if I had a suggestion, is just scrawl fuck across it and then take a mop and dip it in India ink and just splatter it across it. And that's probably the best presentation. That's what goes in my head anytime I start a job. So
yeah.
That's the cool thing about it, because I'll be painting and then I cover it up, and then I paint and then I cover it up, and then I paint and I cover it up, and the next thing I know, I got something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, that's kind of nice. Yeah. I'll stop here.
A quarter of the way into anything I do at that point, where you're immediately going, what the fuck have you done? You've ruined this. What are you doing? Like, stop now. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, just stop now and just quit doing this as a job in general. And then I'll put in another 30 minutes, and weirdly enough, you'll make some couple strokes, or you'll do a few more lines, and you'll round the corner. You go, oh, maybe you didn't.
There it is.
And then you can start. I always, you lead your way deep into a forest at the bottom of a canyon, and then somehow you find your way out. I don't know how, but you do.
Well, I got to admit, I see a lot of your artwork. Handful of bands here in town has hired you for their covers.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm always running across some, a split by some band, or, I kind of put you up there now with Pusshead. You remember Pusshead?
Yeah, I mean... That's like asking, have you ever heard of Jesus Christ?
Okay, because I figured you did, but some people still don't know who Pusshead is.
If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing this at all.
That's same for me.
He was the guy among others that came quickly after that, but he was the guy that
To me, for you around here, you are our area's puss head.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said.
He's calling me puss head. Go check
sweet.
out early Metallica stuff.
Yeah, that's sweet. I think my wife said to me on our wedding day. That's sweeter what you said.
Are we married now?
I think some states, so like Arkansas and Massachusetts. We might be.
I'm sure Connecticut too.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I'm definitely sure Connecticut. We got Mary Lou Farmer chiming in. Dahmer art rules.
Well, thank you.
But yeah, like I said, you got a band, right? You've been in several bands, and I seen you created a page for Corpse Burner, right?
Yeah. I've been in a bunch of bands, and there's some other new stuff in the works. Earlier this year, Rim Job finally called it quits after 15 years.
Yeah.
And we immediately from that we started. Corpse Burner had been a project of me and Tony, the guitar player of it, had started back in 2020, actually. Appropriately enough, during the plague times, we started that project. And we've got one full-length album out, but we've got like 2 or 3 other unreleased albums worth of recorded material. He and I have just been writing and stockpiling the stuff for years now, and to eventually put stuff out kind of gradually. As Rim Job fell away, that was the most logical thing with us wanting to still work together, is to do something new. We had all this existing material, so at least the initial set was to then assemble people and have it rehearsed in a live sense. And we'll be playing our first show the beginning of November, opening up for Wake while they're on tour up in Omaha, I believe, at the Reverb Lounge, I think. So yeah, that's the new thing. We've been rehearsing it now for months and getting everything ready, and so we'll be cranking that out soon. That'll be the new mainstay band for me, and I've got some other stuff that I got in the works. So I'm also in another just black metal band from kind of the Midwest, Kansas, Missouri area, and some other bands. So
well, you got that on? Is it on Spotify yet? You got the album, or is it still holding in your pocket?
That, and then we have a Triumphant Aggressor is a really raw, quick demo, rehearsal demo of 2 tracks that we were trying to put something out that wasn't just the recording project stuff of Tony and I. So which we had just copied a couple good rough tracks of audio from a practice lately, and we were able to put together a quick little EP and throw up just to give people a rough idea of what the live sound would sound like. So, and yeah, it should be up on. It's all up on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Music and all that kind of stuff. So,
under Corpse Burner.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So everybody go check that out. I did have a question. I kind of fell away from it, but since you are a musician as well as an artist, one of the questions that I was asking our musical guests was, what is the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to you on stage?
Oh, well, that's it. I mean, I played a bunch of shows naked and done a bunch of dumb shit like that. Leads out of your ass live and stuff like that. That was fucking. You could call that embarrassing. The one true fuck up was I got roofied at a show years ago.
Oh.
So the show never really happened, but I was there, all fucked up and everything, and it was a mess or whatever. So I think that's the one time that it's been messy and you pull it off before, but that was a time that it just never even happened. It kind of all fell apart. So one of those weird, bizarre, out of the blue, circumstances. So
yeah, I always joke that I never get roofied at bars. It's like, come on, why does nobody ever roofie me?
I've weirdly started running across a number of people, men and women, who get it. I don't know, it's wild. And I think it's a weird social sporting, game just for chaos. It's just to randomly roofie people, guys, to watch to see what happens.
Mine would probably end horribly, I'm sure. So probably a good thing that nobody has. Nobody get any ideas.
Mine ended pretty rough. I was pretty banged up and felt like a couple days after. But
I don't know what Kevin's got going on over there. I never know. We usually just tear each other's, whatever he does, I go screw it up. Whatever I do, he goes screws it up. And we play that game until something comes out, I mean, that's because our styles are a little different, not like polar opposites, but
yeah,
about as close as you can be to polar opposites without being polar opposites, maybe.
Yeah, it's good to have that dance of two different styles around.
Good evening, Heather. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah. I said that exhibit will be going on. I got a slide for it. It'll be going on until like the end of October, right?
I believe it's coming up right the very end of the month of October.
27th. And when we were in there, it looks like the October 6th they're having a first Friday, and then the final Friday, the 27th. So I can't see the rest of it down there. The slide kind of cut it off, but so they're having two little shindigs there.
Yeah,
so the artists will be there. I didn't know if you were coming down to make any of those.
I was hoping to, and I was asked by those people if I was going to be able to, and everything's really busy and everything, and I'm going to be out of town at some points here and everything, and kind of doing other band rehearsal stuff you got to do in the meantime before a show and stuff, and just being busy and everything. Like, so it's not going to happen, unfortunately, but I was hoping to, but so unfortunately not.
Man, we may check it out. We'll check it out for you. How about that?
Yeah, please do.
We'll go drink all the stale wine and the crackers.
Stale Triscuits.
Yeah, cheese, little fancy cheeses.
It's always nice. Yeah.
Oh, this is Wichita. There ain't no damn caviar.
Yeah.
Come on, Kevin.
Come on, we got catfish eggs.
Yeah.
Catfish
eggs. Goldfish eggs.
It's all on how you sell it to people.
Yeah. Oh, I can't do the caviar, the sushi. Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
I just had sushi for lunch yesterday.
Yeah, truck stop sushi. Kevin and the truck stop sushi. Now we were out at Barleycorns for a friend of ours' CD release party. We ended up, the piece we just finished up for the show was a little homage to the Little Devil. You can kind of see him back over there, but remember the Little Devil comics back in the day?
Yeah,
like Casper Style and Wendy. I think they were all in by the same guy or whatever. But
we made them all grown up.
Yeah, we made them all grown up after a few divorces, a couple kids, and just the wares of life stressing on you. We didn't put a cigar in his mouth. I thought we were going to put a cigar in his mouth, but we didn't.
Yeah,
just didn't feel right.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we didn't have very much to do on that. And then you started Chainsaw Man?
Yeah.
Kevin started painting on a Chainsaw Man, and I started painting on this weird bird, and it was a good show. It was a good show.
That's awesome.
Yeah. A little more mellow than what you probably into.
Yeah.
Is it all metal for you, or is there days you listen to some Jackson Brown and
I listen
Crosby,
to
Stills and Nash?
I listen to so much stuff that get me called a wuss or something normally. I listen to all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Just listen to screaming at all. So
like I said, I'm selective with my metal anymore. I'm old. I get that shake your fist and get out of my yard. Metal.
I do enough of that. Like, yeah, it's also just as soothing drawn. Some chick getting her head caved into while you listen to the Moody Blues or something. Yeah, so I listen to all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Right on. Very colorful back there, Kevin.
I'm just making a mess.
Just making a mess.
I expect you to clean it up.
I don't know. That's what we do. That is what we do. But yeah. So, like I said, what else we could talk about? Kevin, I'm losing track. I got distracted by what Kevin's got going on back there. It's mesmerizing.
Well, I think it's funny because he can talk about where to find his artwork, and also
funny haha or
not funny haha. I switched gears on my thought process in the middle of the thought. But no, some of the bigger bands that people can find his artwork on and stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about that. How many album covers have you done?
I have no idea.
No idea.
Yeah, that's the wrong question. I already knew he was going to say that because he said it before.
I've done. This is going into next year will be 13 years I've been doing this full time.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how much stuff I've been asked that by people, and I have no idea. Like bigger bands, the biggest bands or whatever, I think at this point, biggest, I think mainstream wise, I've done a set of designs years ago for Killswitch Engage, which was crazy to come out of the blue like that.
Yeah.
For a bunch of their merch done over the years. I've done a couple designs for Exodus, which was huge. Bands like Windhand, a bunch of stuff for years ago. Stuff for Mortician, for Incantation. I'm trying to think.
Said Windham. Was that Windham or Windham Help? There's two of them.
Windhand.
Windhand. Okay, not
Wind. Yeah, the new band. Yeah.
Okay.
I did a bunch of shirts for them for a few years, and then I did I think it was like 5 or 6 shirt designs, and then I did a cover. It was a spoof of the Slayer Live Undead, but it was with their characters in zombie form. I believe the album was called Live from Somewhere Else. It was a venue. It was a live album they did that was put out by a label only on vinyl for like a select number of copies of it. Yeah. I did that stuff for them. Personal favorite stuff. I did a cover for Necrofilth Abigail split from Japan. That's coming out here really quick. That was a huge honor for me to do that. Done some work for Nunslaughter, which is another personal favorite of mine.
Yeah, I love Nunslaughter.
Yeah, fucking rule. I forget a lot of bands. Band Nails from years ago. There, I did a couple designs for them. It was a bigger band.
Yeah, because I follow you, and I've seen where he said, "Oh, I forgot I did stuff for these guys," and all of a sudden they put out a T-shirt or something of your.
Oh yeah, as you say that, Agoraphobic. I did like 3 designs for them, 3 or 4. I did a couple for Pig Destroyer. And I know after I do this, I'll lay in bed and I go, "Oh fuck, there was like a few others."
That's all right. No, because I remember someone asked you this once before, and you were like, "Man, I don't count them." I mean, how can you? You've done so many. You and I actually first met way before you realized it was because we met later on at some shows we shared, where you were singing and I'm not sure what I was doing. I think I might have been painting, like at Kirby's.
You smell different when you're awake.
Yeah. Well, no, we met at Crypticon. Remember the Captain Spaulding character running around?
Yeah, as we've talked over the years, I believe I remembered that was the first.
Because you were sitting at a table, but usually if somebody's really engrossed in what they're doing and you were at that moment drawing something, I won't necessarily interrupt because that's just the way I am. Even though you're in a con and you expect to be interrupted, I just don't do it.
Anytime I'd sketch there, it would never be anything important. It's literally because I'm just about to go insane because I don't want to sit around usually at something like that with all the energy and stuff. You want to be moving around and you can't because you're stuck. So I just do something to keep myself occupied. But yeah, I do remember that actually.
That was because the whole Captain Spaulding thing kind of blew up for me. So
no, you played that very well.
Yeah, I travel now for it and stuff.
That's awesome.
Not as much, but I do because like anything, I had to kind of raise my asking price to slow it down. So because I kept the first couple of years I kept saying yes to everything, and that kills you. Yeah,
that'll bite you in the ass after a while. I was just asked about doing another Crypticon at some point if I was going to do it. I'd like to do it again. Those have always the 2 I've done were always really successful, and it was nice because you're in the area at least of your of home, so it's not like years ago doing them certain other conventions and be on the road and you're driving 3 states away and you're living in a motel
Yeah, I went to the Crypticon in Seattle too. My son lived there, so that was nice. We flew there and stayed with my son.
That'd be cool.
And, before COVID, I was working on some contracts with them, but COVID came along, and you know, COVID just made everything fade away. It was like, and I'm not pushing it. You know, the break was kind of nice, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
it's not my. It's paying, you know, for me to keep going, but it's not paying my bills. My day job does that.
It's very cool to see. I mean, people who get way into cosplay and going to conventions like that. I mean, if you pull it off, if your setup is very done well, like it's pretty impressive. I mean,
yeah, I don't know how those people can keep doing a different cosplay every single con though. It's like, are you kidding me? Oh, this is going to be for this con. Then they got another con coming up next month. They got a whole new cosplay, and I'm like, nope, I stuck with Captain Spaulding, and that was it. Yeah. And it was like, and then when I did do different things, I started doing what would Captain Spaulding do? So it was Captain Spaulding inside that other costume.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm serious. I'd have the paint on and everything. So
seeing the people who would do multiple chains, like I said, seeing very impressive, you know, jobs people would do on their costumes. Yeah, like their meantime must be so much of their free time is building these costumes and stuff, because I mean they're impressive. Like they're almost movie quality, and you know, they look really.
People are. I mean, some of these people are. Or if not, they end up getting some movie stuff too. It's amazing to watch sometimes.
Cool. And just to backdoor into something like that. So
yeah, well, a lot of them too. It's like the thing I've learned about. I've met a lot of people from The Walking Dead, and so they take a lot of costumers to do it. Because what they do is the front zombies you see are the big time makeup and everything, but they need people to make just masks for the ones that you see in the distance.
Well, it's like the old Planet of the Apes kind of thing, where they put
right. And so literally they have 100 costumers up there. So it could be your neighbor that is known for they flew me out to, well, in this case Atlanta, and spent 2 weeks doing costumes up there, you know, and stuff like that.
Oh, that's still been a weird, just for the fuck of it thing I've always wanted to do, is be an extra of a zombie in some kind of a thing. That is always a cool. I've never went out trying to get one somewhere usually, because I'm not paying attention to stuff like that. But that was always a cool thing. If it was ever something that popped up, I would certainly be stoked.
Since we're on the zombie, what's your favorite zombie flick?
Fuck, I don't know. Most likely for me, and just from all my influence of stuff, would be the Return of the Living Dead movies. I love those. I mean, the color schemes and everything was stuff that just so easily, so well burned into my mind, as far as like that kind of weird like 80s day glow, you know, or kind of stuff like that, similar to stuff like, you know, same color schemes is almost a little bit more to an nth degree is stuff like Street Trash and stuff like that. Like I love bright colors and gore kind of stuff like that. It was always stuff that really stuck from a young age. So
yeah, I like it when you do your little when you film it and then you hyper speed it up. I'm watching it do this stuff, and because I learn a lot, because I do a lot of scribble art for warm-ups. And of course, when you go on that fast, it's look like that's what you're doing, and maybe that is what you're doing, kind of a scribble art concept, until you actually pull something out of it. But I love the way you're able to just splash colors on there sometimes, and it's just like
it works out sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I get overzealous. I'll do like, I fucked that up, and I'll be like, once the video's done, I'll go back and I'll try to adjust a bunch of it, or I'll have to, you know, some of those things you never see a finished copy, a version of it. But yeah, like. A lot of those are just, I mean, a lot of times it's just some kind of a little, kind of a portrait style thing. I just, you know, and yeah, I mean, I love some of my favorite stuff from artists that I really look up to is always looking at old, just concept sketch stuff, like sometimes even more so than finished stuff. I love really
get a hold of their little sketchbook that they always carried in their back pocket.
Yeah. When you were able to
Holy shit.
You know, old Simon Bisley or Bernie Wrightson or Frazetta, just crude, just, you know, brainstorm sketch stuff. That's some of my favorite stuff ever.
You named 3 of my favorite artists right there too. That was wild. I love Beasley. I love Beasley.
those are three of the main guys that I wouldn't be here if it was. Those are some of the guys that have fueled everything.
Yeah, Frazetta was one of mine, but then also the Hildebrand brothers came about, and then of course Vallejo.
Yeah,
up until he got married to Belle.
Yeah,
it seemed like his artwork got stagnant after that.
Yeah, sometimes.
To me, that's just me. Her artwork improved, his stayed the same.
Yeah.
So she benefited from that relationship.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. Man, I'm just upset that Rim Job's no longer around. It's just like, oh no, it's cool. It's cool. I probably saw you about half a dozen times, if not more.
I mean, for a band that was probably only originally about to last, should have lasted, I think, about 3 months. Like 15 years was pretty good. So.
Well, that last time you played Kirby's too, you said, yeah, we wrote a song about, what was it? A wooden dildo that was that the Mormons use or Jewish use or something. I don't know.
It never actually got made, but it was the song was going to be called Amish Dildo, and it was
there you go. Yeah.
It was just a term for a stick.
So I literally, after that, get this, it inspired me to write a song called Murder by Cowbell, which we recorded in my other band.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So a wooden dildo to a cowbell. Where'd that come about? I think we had to do the Amish and the cattle, and they have the bells on it as they're doing their plowing and everything. Yeah. So that might have been where it came from. So I'm going to write a song about Murder by Cowbell. So things like that. Any recent or new stuff coming up, especially art wise?
Oh, I mean, I've got a bunch of stuff on the way, and a lot of stuff you can never really talk about until, and you finish stuff and you send stuff off into the world, and then you sit around and wait, and sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's 3 years until the band puts something out, and then you never really know. And usually a lot of times, obviously, it's the usual of just very, very hush hush. don't give anything away that alludes to
when bands start getting at the level that you're doing work for, it does happen.
Yeah. I also just, I mean, you're doing stuff all the time. I truly just space out. Multitasking has just unraveled my brain over the years, that I just, I forget the stuff as soon as it's done. I forget about it until down the road when you're tagged or someone hits you up and they're like, all right, this is going to go, we're going to put this up tomorrow morning or something. Like, oh, okay. And I just wait for it up and then I follow suit or whatever. Yeah.
We're going big abstract on this one, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like
I said, we're going to scribble and see what happens.
This is one we had no plans, so we're just throwing paint at it until something comes out.
You got the color scheme is down. I like that.
Yeah. So when did you go from, it was obviously, a lot of people say it was a hobby, but it's more than a hobby because we do the same thing. I probably sell a piece once a week, give or take. But when did you realize that I can quit my day job?
Let's see. I've been drawing ever since I was a kid. Every kid draws and some don't stop.
Right. That's same. I did my first commission when I was 8 years old.
Yeah. I drawn forever. And then I was, weird, wild, feral teenager. Everything was it was suggested that I join the military or do something before I ended up in jail or something.
Yeah.
And dead. And then, so I did that. And, out of the military, moved around a few years around the country doing different stuff. And then I ended up, I had a good service record. I had my GI Bill just to go back to college. And I had considered doing either going to art school of some sort or going to culinary school. I mean, drawing, painting, and cooking are the things I love doing. And I kind of weighed, but I ended up going the art school route. And everyone had always said for years, just like, yo, you have a future in doing something. Because that was what I had wanted to do from the time I was a kid. I wanted to be a comic book penciler. And then, but over the years, realizing I really didn't want to, as I got older, realizing to do sequential art was shit I just really didn't, actually, it was losing interest in wanting to do. you would only want to do big splash, dramatic stuff or covers or something like that.
Yeah, so, when they get pencilers, I know they want you to be able to draw the same thing over and 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 over.
I did some small comic contributions and stuff here and there over the years, but but I had went to art school for it then, and used my GI Bill and all that stuff, and then got out when I was like 28, and then by that point, my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, we were already getting together while she was going through nursing school, and but I knew I was gonna. She and I both talked, and the idea was like, hey, if I'm gonna get out, there's gonna be some amount of time, a year or two, and you're gonna see if you're gonna do it. But like, this is what I have an idea. I'm not just going. There was enough people who I went to art school with who were just kind of, I used to be an economics major. I used to be a whatever major. Now I'm just here, just whatever. And they're just kind of, seeing what happens. I was like, I know what I want to do, and it was mainly, again, going back to Pusshead from the very beginning. The guys, as being a 7 or 8 year old kid getting into punk and metal and digging through liner notes and album art and everything, looking at stuff. And I remember asking like my grandparents who I grew up with, was literally that. I'm going like, someone does this for a job, like draws this stuff. And they're like, I don't know, I guess, maybe. And I'm like, I want to do that. And, and that was kind of this thing that was always kind of burned in the back of my head that I would like to do. From the time I was a kid, if I could ever be in a band and draw t-shirt and album covers for bands, that was all I really wanted to do. And, not that either of those things would ever be super get you rich, but I want to do those things. It's not like I want to be a lawyer or an engineer or like super successful things, but so I had did that stuff, and that was just the idea. It was like I took out the max amount of student loans there the last year of college, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get all the basic stuff I need to start. And then it's just like, here goes nothing. Like, I'm going to get out and just hit the ground running. And I started doing commissions the last year or two that I was in college still for bands, from being in like Rim Job and so on in the early days. And you started knowing a lot of other band guys, and you start doing real cheap, quick t-shirt designs and shit for them for cheap back then years ago. Yeah. And so I started doing it then. And then I just went and it was like, all right, this is either going to go, you're either going to climb and get somewhere, or you're going to have to tap out after 6 months, a year or two, and realize it's not truly working. Which, even if it hadn't worked, then I would still be drawing and painting regardless. I mean, if this all ends next week, I'll still paint and draw, on my own. It would just, so that was just the thing. I just like head down and just ran straight head first into it once I got out of school. And I mean, there was a lot initially. There was a lot of meals that were ramen noodles stewed in tears and everything from it being from the super hard times in the early years. But like, I got a few breaks doing some cool shit, and then just doing a lot of fast, cheap, designs and stuff from the beginning. And then it was just the idea of like, you're never done. You never learned everything of drawing and stuff. So I got out. I learned what I did. I already knew how to draw, and I learned drawing and painting stuff from, art school. And then, extra stuff. And then it's like, even now you're forever just learning new techniques that you're teaching yourself from drawing something, from drawing hair, skulls, and eyeballs 60,000 times. Yeah. So it's kind of like, and that's what, I've just, and at some point you look up from under, a huge pile of work, your neck's sore as fuck, and you realize it's been 12 years. And so I'm hoping it keeps going. I'd like to still be doing this 25 years from now, doing it, 40 years from now. I'd like to be the guy who they're like, died behind his drawing table somewhere. Like, that'd be the goal, but so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't realize too, in the Army, they encourage you if you're an artist too. A lot
of stuff. I'd make a lot of money, drawing people tattoo designs, which I still do that for people. If people ask for that, I go,
well, but even in the Army itself, like the mascot for the unit you're in, or other units or stuff like that. Because I did quite a few because I'm retired Army, and I did quite a few.
Yeah, I've done a few of those missions for people like of military pride stuff, Navy pride while I was in. I did a few of those things, but I mean, a lot of times even just people would just buy a drawing off you, like how much? I don't know. Buy me a few beers the next port.
Yeah,
cheaper.
Yeah, stuff like that. Give me a pack of cigarettes for it. Like
me and another artist, we got out of doing a big long. We were infantry based, whatever. And we actually got out of doing a big 20-mile road march they were doing because we were painting the side of the gym for the battalion. But we were literally painting this gym for like 5 straight days, 24/7. Well, not 24/5, I guess. Yeah. And so we were losing a lot of sleep while these people were going on this big road march. And we were like only halfway done. We had to get it done like in 2 more days. So he said, "You're not going on the road march. You two keep painting." So
I would have loved that.
Thank you for your service, both of you.
I got drunk and told a lot of really bad jokes, so I didn't do anything that heroic.
Yeah, most of it, people don't realize. Yeah, you're a professional athlete / professional drinker when you're in the military.
Yeah,
you really are. You drink a lot.
Yeah, Taylor, you're professionally hungover and you're professional.
Right. And then you run into old soldiers or old whatever retired military guys, and they always buy you drinks because of it. Because I do it now too. Yeah. Oh, you're still in the military? Come here.
Yeah.
Well, here, you can have 20 more beers. You're fine.
Yeah, you can handle it.
You can handle
it. Better than your your wedding night or your bachelor party or whatever. The place to clean up on free drinks is being a veteran at a VFW on Veterans Day. Like, I've gotten hammered a few times.
Or a young private flying back from your duty station, headed home because your captain made you wear your uniform. And I ran into an old World War II guy who got me toasted on those little small ones. Kept buying them for me. I'm not going to say no to this World War II. You know, he has the hat and everything. I'm not going to say no to this guy. No. So I'm standing there with my mom and dad, and I can barely stand, and I'm trying to hide it. And my mom she knew what was going on because, the flight stuff. And I was like, well, later on in life, she goes, that night you first came home, we knew you were drunk as hell. We knew it wasn't, jet lag and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I graduated boot camp on 9/11. So
it was about 20 years when that happened. So
it was non-existent, any kind of fun like that. It was really freaky and weird. So
yeah, a lot of the young soldiers and military guys that came in after 9/11, they knew they were going to combat. Period. And I was I was already in for about 10 years when all that happened. So
yeah, I
had the experience.
Yeah, I remember my dad was going like, "Oh, don't worry about it." He's like, "In this day and age, everything's fought from afar. Like, there's no wars, there's no crazy shit that happens." And then literally, the first thing I said to him on a payphone after all that happened, like, "All right, you guys can have 5 minutes to call your family and let them know you're okay." And they're like off base somewhere because they couldn't come on base. I'm going like, "Really? It's fine. There's nothing to worry about in this day and age, really?" Like,
no, I'm in Iraq in the middle of a phone call, and then we get a missile attack, and it cut everything off, and I couldn't talk to my wife for like a week, so they didn't know what was going on. And everybody back here is freaking out. Well, someone did get killed. It just happened to not be me, and so we can't talk about it,
right?
And we can't call home.
Yeah.
So, and they're getting bits and pieces from the command structure people that are back at home, and they can't talk about it, even though they know what's going on, and stuff like that. So,
yeah, it was weird.
But so I've been asking, how many of the projects that you do some of them send you merch after they've done it?
Oh, surprisingly, very few comparatively.
That's kind of what I expected.
Because you obviously wish that some of the larger ones would send you stuff. I do get some stuff from the bigger ones sometimes, but not all of them. Usually the bigger the band, the more people there are in between. A lot of times for certain bands, for a bigger band, sometimes you're talking to the people, sometimes you're talking to an assistant or a middleman, something who's.
And you're one of like 20 they've hired to do artwork for all their merch and stuff. Yeah.
So when it comes time for them to ship something out, a lot of times that just gets lost between 10 people or whatever. I've got a shitload of stuff. Like a lot of stuff is just kind of packed away. eventually, I mean, I think there's a good enough chance I'd have a room in a house somewhere locked up.
Make your own little museum.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I say ultimately it's the stuff. It's the material for the fodder for the pyre my wife will burn me on when I die. Get burned. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff I've gotten sent over the years to people, but as far as I would say, if there's a percentage of out of everything, shit, I mean 30 or 40% of everything. Yeah. Because if it was everything, I mean, I would already have like a garage full, and I've got a bunch of boxes and of shirts, a bunch of all kinds of, two or three slots worth of like CDs and vinyl and cassettes and everything of all the variation stuff. Like these big behind me out of sight here. There's like for the band Vacuous Depths here that I did their cover for and stuff a while back. As well as Mortician, like the big vinyl poster flags they've sent me, those kind of things, which I'm able to. I don't want to wear the shirts of my own, obviously. Like I keep a lot of those. I mean, my wife wants to eventually do something with them, as far as all that. But
make a big blanket out of it.
Yeah, the flags at least. I mean, it's a cool thing. At least I had bare walls. Ultimately, you can hang them up, office to cover the wall space. But yeah, really ultimately, I mean, most of the bands don't ever send you stuff, but a lot. I mean, some do.
Well, I kind of knew what that answer was too, because it seems like you're always humbled when somebody sends you some, and a lot of times you forgot you even did work for them. I noticed it's like, oh, I forgot I did the work for these guys.
Yeah. Anyone always wants to get a present in the mail. Yeah. A package in the mail rules. Like I don't care 6 or you're 60, it rules. Like, but also, yeah, yeah, and also a lot of times, like I said, and that goes back to the thing of it saying that it might be 2 years later, and someone will hit you back up and go, "Hey, what's your address?" And I go, and you just give it to them, and they go, "Cool, thanks." And
the Unabomber.
Yeah.
Of course, it would fit what you do. So there you go. Yeah. It'd be ironic.
Well, it would be fitting that the Unabomber would send something to the Unadahmer. And then like I said, you'll get a request for your address, or you'll go, "Is your address still this?" And I go, "No, it's this." And then 2 weeks later, a package shows up, and a lot of times there have been enough times it's been something like, "Oh fuck, this was something I did, 2 or 3 years ago. Like I forgot about that." I go, "Wow!" Like, and sometimes it's just like, "Oh, we got around to finally doing it," or the band was, on hiatus for a while, or I mean, there's enough things that have gone. If I try to if I'll go back and dig through archives year by year of all the in like flat file storage of year by year of all the stuff I've done. Once in a while, like moving all back, like moving last year.
No, we're not doing it.
And
okay.
But I had seen there's a lot of jobs that I've done that have gone out into space, and maybe the band broke up, 2 weeks after I finished the job or something. So it's like I've realized, or they never did anything with it. So like there's a lot of bands like that. There's a lot of material that I've seen of work that I forgot I did, but then it was like, oh shit, that was something that was like 5 years ago, and you never ever heard anything.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a big piece that I think you just made the post about, like you forgot to share it or something. It looked like it was on canvas.
It was a giant, the Akira commission. It was for a dude, just a personal commission for a guy years ago. I found it while digging through the depths of my phone, just kind of looking through old pictures and stuff. It was a massive piece of Bristol, of real heavy duty mat board.
Yeah.
That was a motherfucker I remember actually to pack and send. Yeah. It was a giant thing, pull up or anything. And it was just, I think I had to going to UPS to send it off, even because you couldn't go to the post office, and it's like you had to charge them a bunch of extra. I remember I had all the flashbacks once I saw that picture. I was like, oh shit. But I don't think I actually ever put that up. But
that blocked it in your, so yeah. I think you blocked it.
Well, I think because mailing too, I think we may have lost a piece. Not lost the piece, but we may have lost the sale because they said, hey, there's going to be an upcharge for us mailing this. I'm not going to sell it for this because we way undersell ourselves anyway, because we want to keep our stuff coming. And then when I actually I haven't heard back. It's been crickets since. Maybe they will contact me in a few days, but
I get yelled at sometimes for not charging as much extra for shipping. But yeah, especially in this day and age, man, you'd have to be just insane to not understand what the post office, how they bend you over.
Yeah.
Ship stuff.
It's everything, because when you're sending a piece out too, you're going to want insurance. I get it the first 100, but if you're sending a piece that's worth thousands, you got to get that extra insurance and stuff like that. I think it's funny because I know you'll send a file for a certain price, right?
Yeah, I for stuff usually is like, as far as like all the stuff that my original stuff that I just did, and people hit me up if they're like, hey, is this for sale? Like, I want this for a shirt for my band or whatever. And yeah, I charge a price that's a little bit cheaper. It's a bit cheaper than a commission, so it's a deal because it's like, I mean, it was a thing that, that I did myself, and it's, been, like I said, and for that you get the high res files and you can use that. It's yours once you get that, and then, like I said, or you can do a package deal if you're a person who wants to own the original too. Then I can cut a package deal in which you receive the files that are yours as well as the original. So,
because I've seen some people do the inquiry too. I've known some people from around here asking about the originals, and then they're like sticker shock. I go, dude, first off, I'm going to put it out there. You're one of the top 10 artists in the style of art you do in the United States, or at least around here. I'm going to put that out there. You're top 10, period. And you really are. It's amazing to me how many bands, especially the more extreme bands, that I see your artwork on. And
I got a lot more that I'd like to do. I have all the bands I look at on the internet every day, and I was like, one day, like, come on, like, I know you're out there. You'll slowly over time look at Instagram, and you'll see some guy or some band's official page from a band that'll finally follow you, and like, come on, one step. It's like fishing. You're like, come on, one step closer. If I have,
you'll get it, because I remember when I'm going to throw another name that Jeff Gaither.
Yeah.
He was where you were at one. Of course, being the last apprentice for Roth did not hurt.
No shit.
but he's done stuff for like Kiss and Rolling Stones, and then his stuff's pretty extreme too. So.
Yeah, that was always doing those for Exodus. Was I was going through a middle assistant to them, but I was getting the direct notes from Gary Holt that he had them hit me up, and I was going back and forth for those designs, and I would send him the sketches and send him progress stuff, and he'd give me notes and stuff, and I wanted. That's why that was when he was in Slayer, obviously. So I was like, dude. That's why I was like, come on, one shirt for Slayer. Come on, one shirt. Like they put out, like, annually they would put out like 60 shirt merch designs a year on their website. I'm like, come on, man, just one. So
and they're saying they broke up, so we'll see a few years, see if they decide to do something. But
I mean, they still put out merch to this day. I see ads for it on the internet. So I was like, I mean, if somebody from their official camp ever hit me up, I would lose my shit.
Where would they contact you at if they're watching right now? I mean, Dahmer Art.
That would be my official email, dahmerart@gmail.com.
And then if anybody wanted to purchase any of your prints, it's you got a website, right?
Yeah, you could hit me up directly there, dahmerart@gmail.com. I have my web shop as an Art Pal account where it's everything is available on there, and you can find that in a link in my bio on my Instagram page, which is just @DahmerArt.
Yeah, I've checked it out, and it goes back years. You got stuff for years back there.
Yeah, I got to the point where it's just trying to log almost everything, over the year, which I'm years behind on of putting up the originals of commissions I've done, because most people who commission stuff don't ever want the original. So I've got that, a couple, 2,000 or 3,000 probably.
That's kind of baffling to me. I mean, I know it's like for t-shirt designs, but I would want to hang that motherfucker on the wall. I would.
That's what some people think, and you would think that, but most people no. Most people just want the files. They just need to get into use for a project or something. So but I'm behind on updating the originals in that web shop for like the originals that are for sale just for collectors use that you can't use for anything.
Yeah.
But I'm years behind on that. I think I've been trying to begin updating at my slow times the 2020 and up, so I've got years worth of things now 2020 that I haven't uploaded yet, but that's a process. A whole lot of
sound like you have much slow time.
I do here and there, but like usually no. So
yeah, I guess you just need to get that really big deal so you can hire an assistant to be able to cover it and take care of all that stuff.
Yeah,
that would rule. Like I would really enjoy somebody to help, manage all my social media stuff, so I never have to look at any of that stuff.
To be honest with you, I don't think any artist that I know has somebody that does that, though. It seems like.
No, I mean you can dream like you hit some rock star status, but ultimately it's all you're doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I think most physical artists too, like what you do, you wouldn't be happy with what they were doing anyway because of your creative nature. You'd be, no, I don't want it this way. I want it this way.
I'm ultimately neurotic. I'd be bombarding them with too many emails. Like now put this up. Now put this. Actually, put this up and end this up. Here's 16 sketches to post out over the next 2 days. Like I'm not gonna do that. like that's not how this is done properly. So
we got to answer Russ's question here: is yin yang or yin yang big?
What the hell?
No idea what that is.
Yeah. So Russ, we don't know.
Yeah.
Mr. Riggs.
Oh, Mr.
He's asking Mr. Riggs.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this person? Do you know who this person is?
Brock Prescott.
Yeah, I know Brock. How's it going, man?
Yep. What's going on, Brock?
Yeah, we have a little bit interactive here. For you people that just joined, it built up pretty big.
Russ is drinking. That explains it.
Well,
that explains a lot there, Russ. We love you.
When are you not drinking? That's what we need to know. It's Sunday.
But we got a good start on our little colorful thing back there. I mean, it ain't nothing, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's kind of nice just because we've been formatting a lot of stuff because we did that Pinocchio a couple weeks ago, and then the Little Devil just recently, and then last night kind of formatted stuff. So it's kind of nice just to throw some stuff at it and just see what happens.
Yeah, a little chaos.
Plus, I'm working on I'm doing a Necronomicon on one of the lunchbox. I've been painting lunchboxes lately, so I'm turning a lunchbox into a Necronomicon.
I was looking at your fingers. I thought he was like,
the paint. See,
I thought he was
still.
getting ready to talk about he had like a pet manicure or something that he was
necromanicure.
Necromanicure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to feed the kid and get off of here. I appreciate you coming in. Everybody who's listening in the Wichita vicinity or close to, drive to City Arts. Check out that artwork in person. It's phenomenal work. Check out Dahmer art.
Yeah, very good eclectic styles there. Very eclectic.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff is straight off of some of the artwork you've seen with the Misfits. Others represent, like your other one you did, kind of represents something from the Misfits.
Yeah, I wanted to do I didn't want to do just knowns. I wanted to do one. I was originally going to do 3, but one of them didn't. One of them's partially done. I may finish it at some point. It didn't finish in time, but I wanted to do something else that wasn't just an existing one. I want to do one that was kind of the similar vein. No, I mean the Misfits ever since I was fucking 7. So it's like you've got all those songs ingrained in your soul and everything. So knowing the ultimate feel and idea and everything, I wanted to do something that was kind of original. So,
all right.
Well, when your band comes to town, I'll set up and do shop and do some artwork during your show.
I was just talking to Ted from Projects this morning, and I think we're talking about sometime here very soon.
Yeah, I've done artwork at almost every show they've done.
Oh yeah, I think we were just talking today about trying to get we were talking about putting the finishing touches. A Soprogenous rim job split that happened right before rim job ended has been done, sitting around waiting, and we're actually getting ready to send that off. That's going to be coming out soon through Jim from Deterioration's label that they're going to be putting it out, and then we'll have copies of that out before long. And then we were just also talking about getting Corpse Burner by later in the winter or even the spring back out there once we're now up and band. So we'll be out. We'll definitely be back.
Like how I led the segue because I wanted him to talk about Church Burner one more time, and he did. Yeah, thanks a lot, man. If you happen to come down for your show for the Misfits at all, just give us a shout. Maybe we'll meet you up and drink some coffee or something.
If I can, I definitely will let you guys know.
Yeah.
And we'll make a big celebration out of it.
Big to do about it, fanfare and horns and confetti.
Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. The opportunity.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, have a good one, man.
You too, man. Take it easy.
So humble about it.